वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरचैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतो सेवया भागवतो उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 5, chapter title Karma Yoga. न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि यातो तिष्ठति अकर्मकृत् कार्यते हि अवश्य कर्म स्वः प्रकृति च निर्गुण. न nor he certainly kaschit anyone kyanam a moment api also jatu at any time tisthati remains akarmakrit without doing something karyate is forced to do he certainly avashaha helplessly karma work sarvah all prakriti jay born of the modes of the material nature gunaha by the qualities. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a long purport, but I'll try to read. It is not a question of embodied life, but it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move. The body is only a dead vehicle to be worked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop even for a moment. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in the good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it will be engaged in occupations dictated by the illusory energy. In contact with material energy, the spirit soul acquires material modes, and to purify the soul from such affinities, it is necessary to engage in the prescribed duties enjoined in the Shastras. But if the soul is engaged in his natural function of Krishna consciousness, whatever he is, attend to Srimad Bhagavatam affirms that. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, it's continued. Okay. It's a verse here from Srimad Bhagavatam. Takta sudharma charam bhujam hare bhajanam apakto atha pratet tato yadi yatra ko bha abhadram abhut amushyakim kovarta apo bhajatam swadharmatah. If someone takes to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras or execute the devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he carries out the injunctions or purifications in the Shastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? So the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sannyas or any purificatory process is to help reach the ultimate goal to become Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered a failure. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namo Sri Chaitanya Manabhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Savadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadvitam Tam Sapjivam Sadvitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitam Cha. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome everyone for this daily Japathan classes for the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm not qualified and my knowledge is pretty limited on this subject matter. So I'm seeking blessings of this in your exalted Vaishnavas for their mercy and their blessings, so that I can do this service nicely so that I can, like utter the right word in the right consciousness for the pleasure of Guru Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. So here, I think few days before only we completed the chapter 2, and now we have started the chapter 3, which is known as the Karma Yoga. So I think previously we have discussed already Arjuna's doubt, and then how Krishna has, like clarified his doubt about how to perform the actions. Generally, there is a misconception that the spiritual life is always in having an inertia kind of thing is always there. This is that the spiritual life or is basically is a retirement of the activity. And common people think that, like those who do spiritual practice, that they do not have to do anything, they don't have to do any action, they don't have to do any act. Simply they have to go to Himalayas or any secluded place and do the sadhana, and then on their own they will be doing all the practices and the austerities. But here Krishna clearly states inactivity is not an option, even if you want to. So let's dive deep into this verse here just to see what Krishna is saying. So here Krishna, like is asking first of all, in the verse, Prabhupada is explaining why we should not try to stop doing our karma, because it is not going to stop us from getting reaction. Even if you don't do any action also, we will get some reactions. Because our mind is active, either in our body also we can do some work, otherwise in our mind also we'll do some work. So always if we do something, we'll do something and we'll get some action. Even if you don't do anything, also we'll get some reaction. And even if you want to stop, we cannot do stop karma, as it is the nature of the living entity or the nature of the soul to be always active. Like your body can be inactive. We see that, like our body can be a dead matter, but the soul, it transmigrates from one body to the another body. But that's why the nature of the soul is to be very, very active. Then Krishna asks, like how much time you can be inactive? And again, Krishna answers over here, not even for a moment. Each and every moment, like we are doing some work, either consciously or subconsciously. Even if sleep also, we are dreaming, we are thinking something. So every time we are doing some work. Now, for example, let's take this example of this Bhagavad Gita class. In Bhagavad Gita class, all these, like temple has facilitated this class. We all are listening to these classes. And sometimes, we listen very quietly and we're thinking, yeah, I'm not doing any action, I'm just listening. But while doing this also, sometimes our mind wanders, goes here and there. Some of our matajis, while working, while, like listening, we do some of the course, some of the housework, some of the things. And otherwise, sometimes, the class, during the class, if you're tired, we kind of, we become, we feel drowsy and we take a nap. It goes on. So basically in every moment, even if you do this action, doing one action, side by side, there are so many other actions also are doing. So basically here Krishna is saying every moment we are doing karma. We cannot be akarmakrit. We are always be karmakrit. Then second thing, then finally after this asking, like why we cannot do and how much time we cannot do, then Krishna is saying who is forcing us to do the karma. Basically there is by the influence of the three modes of material nature, Sattva Guna, Tamaguna and Rajaguna, we are actually doing this work. These three qualities act as a bond for all the living beings. Basically, the guna means the rope, and also it is basically quality. Or we like sometimes we see that we hear that karma bandhan. So basically, this entanglement by the rope by the gunas. That's what actually it means. We might all of us might have seen how the puppet show. In childhood days, we might have seen the puppet shows. There's dances happens. Like that, like small puppets dance. When an onlooker sees that, he thinks that yeah, the puppets are dancing on their own, but the puppets are not dancing on their own. Basically the puppets are tied to a rope and somebody is making them dance from the top. Basically those puppets were dancing, that kind of the jivas, and the ropes is kind of the entanglement of the karmas, and the karmas actually holding them to make them dance. So now simulating onto this, this modes of material nature, if we say that, like when we do any Microsoft painting or anything, any kind of we try to embed an image, there are three primary colors are there. They're kind of yellow, red and blue. So from this primary color we get secondary color, from the secondary color we get the tertiary color. Like the yellow and red you mix, you'll get the orange color. Like from these three pure colors we see a 10 billion different sets of colors we can create for our for our use. Similarly, there are three gunas are there, as we discussed earlier: Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, Tama Guna, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So basically, each living being has this different this some of this sattva guna. Each living being has some sattva guna, some raja guna, and tama guna. Even if the animal kingdom, if whether it is a demigod, whether it is a human body, all of them have different of all these different varieties of gunas are there. From the animals, generally we think that they are in the mode of the tamaguna. But if we see that from the animal also there is a varieties are there. The monkeys we can consider, or the wolves we can consider that they're considered they're they're in the mode of ignorance. When you go up, the tigers and lions, they're in the mode of passion. Then the cows, and like they're in the mode of goodness. Similarly, living being also we are having different gunas are there. Now if these gunas are actually if you take one particular individual, he might have like 30% of tamaguna, 40% of rajaguna, and 20% of sattva to make it 100%. Again, no two similar persons can be unique and cannot be think same way. So here is, I have noted down the characteristics of the sattva guna. They are people are peaceful, satisfied, generous, kind, helpful, and see things in the right perspective. Then the persons are in Rajaguna. They are basically passionate. They're kind of dreaming. They're agitated sometimes. They're very, very ambitious. They see something, they want to get it. They envious of the other person's success. They always are hankering for sense gratification. Then the person with the tamaguna or the mode of ignorance, they're kind of insecure always. They're kind of fearful. They're depressed. They're confused. They're illusioned, and they're lazy. Yeah. Now in day-to-day action, when we do, we can see that in a family also we can see this how these material modes of three modes how it affects. Suppose for example, we all are coming from, most of us coming from the Indian background. So when in India, we as earlier we get up the ladies of the house, sometimes they get up early in the morning, they do tulsi puja outside, they do they will put water on the tulsi plant, they'll do dirty worship, and they will nicely take care of the family. Then in that moment they're in the mode of goodness, they're in the mode of sattva. As they do progresses, their work is kind of they are finishing their work, they switch on the TV, and they start watching these TV serials, like those regular soap operas are there, and they see all these kind of fightings and all those things, and then they see all the jewelry art, all things, they start kind of dreaming. Then they are they are in the mode of passion. Then all of a sudden, the son or husband, they come back and they want to switch up the channel, and they want to go to a different channel. They either want to watch some TV news or watch to some cricket. Then the wife, like whoever is watching previously, wife or the kid, whoever is watching, they get agitated, they get angry. They start shouting, "Why did you do this? Why did you change my channel? I was watching it." All kind of they forget all these gunas, before they had all these things, they forget, and they immediately get into this mode of ignorance, and all these shouting and all those things starts. So all these things goes on. So basically, nobody in this material world, any living entity, cannot avoid all these three modes, and we perform accordingly these three modes. Now, I had these beautiful stories in one of the stories about how is a from how a situation will be same, how three different persons will be behaving differently by the modes of the nature. So here, there are three brothers in this capsular story. I have here over here. There are monkeys over here, and the person is sleeping. So basically, what happens? There are three friends. The friend's name was one of them were like Mr. Satyagun, another is Mr. Rajagun, another name is Mr. Tamagun. The three they were the three cap sellers. They went to sell cap. So they were so first what happened? The Mr. Tamagun, he came early in the morning, and he crossed a river, and he saw there is a tree, and he felt a little bit tired. So he put all the caps under his head in a bag, and he took a small nap. So while he taking a nap, some monkeys, they were hiding inside the tree, they appear. Actually monkeys are mischievous. They saw the hats are, the hats are under the tree, under the man. So they took one by one the hats they took on their head. So after some time, the Mr. Tamagun woke up from the dream, from his sleep, and he saw all the caps are gone. And he saw these monkeys are, wearing the caps. Not doing anything, he was very sad. He started crying, and he cried, all my caps are gone. He started lamenting. Then crying, he went back home. After some time, the other friend came. Is Mr. Rajagun. He came. He also, came here near the tree. He also felt tired. He also slept. The same thing, whatever his earlier friend did. Again, the monkeys came. They took the caps. After some time, again, Mr. Rajagun, he woke up. He saw that all my caps are gone. So instead of like earlier friend, like his friend, he didn't cry. He got very agitated. He started shouting at the monkeys. He called them stupid. You took my man. You took my caps. Return me my caps. He just shouted at them. Like sword finger at them. Monkeys, started imitating them. It went on for some time. Then he got more agitated and he left for home without collecting the caps. After some time, the third friend, Mr. Saptagon, came. He also came and he was also tired under the tree. And he also took a small nap like his earlier friends. Again, the monkeys came, collected his caps, all the caps and what. So Mr. Saptagon woke up after some time. After waking up, he is all fresh, everything. He saw that all the caps are gone. He looked around. He saw these monkeys are like wearing the caps. But he was not sad, neither he agitated like the earlier friends. Then he thought how to handle this situation. Then he realized that yeah, monkeys like tried to imitate. So what he did is he was wearing a cap. He removed his cap and threw it to the nearby area. Again, monkey. So he's intuition was right. The monkeys like to imitate. So monkeys also threw all the caps whatever they were wearing. So finally, this person, like he could collect all the caps. Happily, he went back. So we could see here how three persons, with different gunas, how the same situation they are handling. So basically, this all these were living beings. We are all puppets in the hands of the material nature. So in Bhagavad Gita 3.27, Krishna says, Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudhatma kartamam iti manyate. That means the bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to the doer of the activities, which are in actually carried out by the nature. So basically, the living entity or the jiva thinks that I am free. I am free from any attachment. I am the doer. He forgets that Krishna is the doer. He forgets that I am the doer. That's why he comes to this karma cycle. But he forgets that he is not the doer actually. These three gunas are forcing him to act in such a way. Here I have three pictures here. There is a tiger chasing a deer. Basically, the tiger, when he sees a deer, his mode of, passion arises in him. And in the mode of passion, looking at the deer, that arises within him. Looking at the deer, he starts to attack and he tries to eat it. Then here, the next picture about an intoxicant, a drunkard. A drunkard is always in a mode of ignorance. When he sees a wine bottle or an alcohol bottle, those, it instigates him. Yeah, I should go for him and I should drink it. So he cannot stop it. So during this corona pandemic, I was reading, there was a rule in certain states that there won't be any alcohol. So, but these alcoholics were so much, attached to the alcohol, in the fear that they are not going to get alcohol, the thought of, giving up their life. So the next is, there are two devotees. There is a devotee who is reading, who is showing the scripture book to the other devotee. Basically, the devotees are always in the mode of Sattvagun. So when he sees a spiritual brook or a tulsi plant, ultimately, this love for that Godhead arises within them. So they try to preach and try to do some, good actions. Yeah. So basically what happens here is the spiritual advancement, we always think that, yeah, you have to give up your work, but it is not actually giving up the work. Instead, it is the quality of one's action is considered. Our soul is always active. So the scriptures have always provided us, these are some of the prescribed duties. So we all have to, based on the Varnasama system, we all have given some prescribed duty, so that we will be gradually purified. We do the prescribed duty by keeping Krishna in our center. So this prescribed duty is why it is important, because by doing this prescribed duty with Krishna, keeping Krishna in center, our heart get purified. And when our heart get purified, we are no more entangled by the karma cycle. But however, the process of the bhakti is superior to everything. So there will be a scenarios when one person will be doing the prescribed duty, whatever prescribed duty he is doing, but then another, and like whatever is mentioned in the Vedas, he is doing all kind of patana, pujana, all these yajnas, he is doing all these 6 karma sanskaras he is doing. But side by side, there will be another individual from a lower birth. He won't be knowing what is the prescribed duty, but he will be having this unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We see that in the yogic ladder, the second person is in fact higher. than the fast person who is doing the prescribed duty. So there is a nice story on this from Jagannath Puri. So basically, what happened in Puri? There is a nearby village. There will be staying a Brahmin and there will be staying a cobbler. They'll be staying in the nearby houses. So this Brahman was very, very learned. He learned all the shastras, and he will be every morning, he will be doing all the sort of supachar, all the pujas. He will be teaching everybody, and he will be doing yajnas. He will be going for begging, and he will be getting everything, and he will be doing all kind of shastra reading. He will be doing, and near when while he will be going out, he will be saying that the cobbler is doing, and out of a fear, yeah, cobbler shadow is going to put on me, and cobbler is holding all the kind of different kind of skin, all the leathers he is holding. He will be saying, Ram, 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 what kind of person he is, and my by his shadow I am going to get, impurified, I have to take shower. So he has to change the direction here, and he will be going in a different way. Even if the shadow will come on his on the Brahmin, he will be sprinkling Gangajal and he will try to get purified. So but hereby but here but this cobbler will be stitching the leather bags, and stitching these stitching this devotee shoes, and all these cows and those hoods he will be taking care of. And but while doing everything, he will be just reciting Gita Govind. We all know that how Gita Govind is dear to Jagannath ji. And this Brahman, while doing all his pujas and everything, he will be just looking around what this cobbler is doing, who is coming to this cobbler's house. Oh my God, he is touching this skin, that leather, and see what he is doing. He will be always thinking, and how I am superior to that, to the cobbler, always in his mind. So his mind is a little bit distracted, and he is doing all the upacharas and everything, whatever is prescribed in the shastra. By somehow this went on for some time, but somehow by Krishna's arrangement, both the cobbler and the Brahman devotee, they left their body at the same time. Now, the same time when they came, the Yamadutas came to take the Brahman, and the Vishnudutas came to take the cobbler. When the Yamadutas came to the Brahman get furious. He told, why? I think you did something wrong here. And ideally, you should go to the cobbler, and the Vishnudutas would come to take me, because I was always worshipping, and I was doing all my prescribed duties. I was every day doing salagram worship, and I was every day doing offering all these kind of prescribed duties I'm doing. I was doing yajna, I was doing so many fire sacrifice. I have done 1 kilos of ghee I was putting in the fire. And this cobbler was every day holding leather, and God knows whether he was taking bath or not. It's like that he has told. Then the Jamadutas told, no, actually you are wrong. There is not a single moment this cobbler has not thought about Krishna. Even he was so meticulously, doing all his stitching work while reciting Gita Govind. In fact, Lord Jagannath used to come and listen to his songs. Listen to how he's nicely singing all the songs. So that is not a single moment he has forgot Krishna. But wherever you are, all the sadhanas you are doing, but you are totally distracted. You have never thought about Krishna. You are just doing it without any bhakti. We are doing basically whatever prescribed duty you should do. You should arise from the from this platform of this material entanglement to the bhakti platform. You didn't do that, but the cobbler has done that. So that's why the cobbler is going to going to the heavenly hour, and we have come to take you. So this is about the story. Now, sometimes, in the purport, Prabhupada told that in the higher order of life, one can renounce the prescribed duty. So how to go to the higher order of life? To go to the higher order of life, and you have to attain certain jnana, and for that you have to do your prescribed duty. Then gradual purification will come, and then you will go, with the proper enlightenment, you can renounce your prescribed duty, and then you can go to the level of sannyas. So that's what actually Prabhupada described. Otherwise, if you directly go to take sannyas without your proper prescribed duty, otherwise if your knowledge is not fructified, or your knowledge is not fully enlightened, then basically you are just pretending you are not at the right platform. So there is a nice pastime of Madhavendra Puri, nice story of Madhavendra Puri. I think Prabhupada has described in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4, 3.4, 2.4, 3, chapter verse 3 and 4. He has described about it. We all know that Madhavendra Puri was he was in Vrindavan, and he came to Jagannath Puri to take the Malai Chandan, and he was also the spiritual master of Ishwar Puri, who was the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhavendra Puri was a ardent devotee of Lord Krishna. So he came to Jagannath Puri to take the sandalwood, so that like he can rub the sandal and offer to his Gopal. We all know this story, how Madhavendra Puri resided in Kirchara Gopinath temple. So Madhavendra Puri, like when he was doing his daily practices earlier, he was doing morning bandana, sandhya bandana, taking 3 times he was taking arati, and then he was doing oblations to the demigods. He was doing sacrifices. He was worshipping forefathers. Everything he was doing, but Madhavendra Puri constantly was thinking about Sri Krishna. So Madhavendra Puri decided, decided, to instead of doing all these things, he will constantly meditate on the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. So in the purport, Prabhupada has explained here, Madhavendra Puri is saying that, oh my evening prayer, oh my Sandhya Vandana, all that is all auspicious unto you, because it is very, very auspicious. Oh my morning bath, I bid goodbye to you. It's not like that Madhavendra Puri is not going to take morning bath, but he is going to take it. But he is saying that I am not having this bondage to do that for my purification. Oh my demigods and all my forefathers, please excuse me. Basically, he's saying that, demigods and forefathers, I have due respect towards you, but excuse me, I am unable to perform any more offerings for your pleasure. Why I'm not able to do any more offering for a pleasure? Because I have decided to free myself from all reaction to sins simply by remembering anywhere and everywhere the great descendant of Jadu and the great enemy of Kamsa, who is Lord Krishna. I think that this is sufficient for me. So what is the use of further endeavors? So for Madhavendra Puri, Ahar-nisi, each and every moment, he was thinking of Krishna. There is not a single moment that he was not thinking of Krishna. Sleeping, he was thinking of Krishna. He came to Kirchara Gopinath temple. He is thinking how this nice khira, I can offer it to my Gopal. Then all of a sudden he thinks, oh, how I could think like this. And then in his dream, then Gopinath himself comes and steals for him. And when Madhavendra Puri was in Vrindavan, Krishna in a small boy form used to come and get milk for him, get nice bhoga offering for him. So Madhavendra, we are not, and sometimes somebody might imitate from this, that we can also do the similar things and we don't have to do it. But we should realize that we are not at the platform of the Madhavendra Puri. We are not able to think about Krishna, for unadulteratedly for even a moment. But here, Lord Madhavendra Puri is 24 hours and all this, whole day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, entire year, entire his life, he is meditating on the beautiful form of Samsundar of Krishna. So then here, Madhavendra Puri, then finally he says that there are 3 platforms. The lowest platform is where, where one does not care of the prescribed duty, which is basically at the animals level, they don't do anything. We consider them, they are not good at all. Then the second one is, to do the prescribed duty. So basically this prescribed duty, performing the prescribed duty, we all the human beings, we come into that category. We all have to do definitely some kind of prescribed duty. But the highest platform is whatever is to by doing the prescribed duty, you attain the bhakti for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By doing that only, we will not be entangled by the ropes of the material nature. Now here in the purport, Prabhupada also has explained that this devotion, that while doing devotional service, sometimes there might be some relaxation. Sometimes maybe some problem happens, we might not continue the devotional service, but don't worry about that. Even if you do a smaller amount of time of devotional service, suppose your lifespan is around, suppose 60 years. If you have done 10 years devotional service, so don't worry. Those 10 years is the best, is the best period of your life. Suppose when you were working in an IT sector, you think that this is my best project. That best project or that best certification, your entire career you try to sell it out. Similarly, those devotional service which we do in our one lifetime, that devotional service, Krishna keeps an account for this devotional entire life cycle. So as meditating, like here we are just thinking in our, when we're whoever are in the IT industry, we try to take care of all the data, like this customer has this much, this much, records are there, and this record got deleted, you keep in backup, like, all those things we do. I was just meditating how Krishna is keeping an account of, like so many actions. Each moment we do some actions. Each day we are having so many actions. Some of them might be, and like each jiva also goes to so many life cycles. Maybe some of us may be in a lower spaces in the earlier life. We might have some good karma. Krishna keeps account of that. Because of the good karmas, we took birth in this. Because of this good karma, we took birth in this devotee life. So we are also doing some certain good karmas and some bad karmas. Krishna also keep an account. And what will happen in the next life also. Krishna also thinks that. So how this karma life cycle is so difficult to handle. I was meditating on that. And now in the purport, Prabhupada has explained that Narad Muni is explaining to Vasudev, Takta Swadharma Charan Bhuja Harer Bhajanam Apako Atha Patit Tato Yadi Yatra Kva Abhadram Adbhut Amashakim Kva Varta Apto Bhajatam Swadhamasataha. So I think the translation is here. If someone takes Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras or execute the devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he carries out all the injunction or purification in the Shastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? So the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sannyas or any purification process is to help reach the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered failure. Okay. Now, generally, when we keep some bank balance in our account. So when we leave our body, we cannot take this bank balance, this house, this whatever we have accumulated, we cannot take to the next life. We just like whatever we just go like that. And in the new life, we started from the scratch, from the fresh. When we are working in one company, and due to some happens, we get laid off or we move to a new company. Then whatever vacations we have accrued, or whatever sick leaves we have accrued, everything, like when you start a new company, we start again from the zero. But in spiritual life, it is not like that. In Krishna, in spiritual life, whatever small good karma we have done, whatever small devotional service we have done, Krishna doesn't forget it. Krishna keeps it accounts in our spiritual bank account safely. So whenever we need it, whenever later on in our next life, when whatever spiritual activity we do, it starts from that. Suppose in our last life we have done some, if our spiritual bank account is like a pot, suppose we have done 1/3 of the spiritual activity from that pot. So when in our next life, when you take birth, we start from that 1/3. But when we consider the material life, if we have accumulated 1/3 of the material wealth, in the next life we'll start from the zero. So Krishna doesn't forget whatever spiritual activities we have done. So it will be always safe. It always safe, as a safe deposit in his account. So in scripture also we have seen the examples of Bharat Maharaj. And like Bharat Maharaj was attracted towards a deer, and Bharat Maharaj in his next life he took birth as a deer. But being as a deer also, he did not forget it in the good karmas. Then he get the body of Jada Bharat. From Jada Bharat, he still didn't forget. When he had encountered the Rahugan, he gives Rahugan the knowledge of the spiritual knowledge. And also we have heard about the Ajamil. Ajamil was once upon a time was very nice Brahman. He was doing some nice spiritual activities. But due to Atsat Sangha, he got bewildered. But he had a son Narayan. He used to call Narayan while calling him for any calling it towards during his deathbed when the Jamadutas came to take him. Due to this this Narayan he is calling Krishna. The Vishnu Dutas came to take. Vishnu Dutas came to arrive to take him. So then Ajamila was witnessing these activities. After that, Ajamila started all his life fresh again. The third example is Gajendra. Gajendra in his previous life, he was King Indradumna. Due to some, inactions, he got cursed and he got an elephant body. But when the elephant body, he was just came to sporting, and he was attracted by the crocodile. While the crocodile was catching the hold of Gajendra, Gajendra started praying. Because that moment while he was, like fighting with the crocodile, he could remember that, yeah, in his previous life, there was a prayer. He used to offer a prayer. He remembered that and he called Krishna. So Krishna came in the mounting on the Garud and helped him. So, so basically, so that's what actually Prabhupada here is saying, that even if small amount of devotional service is the eternal gain. So in the summary, if we see here that our soul will be having different actions. Soul can do sinful activity and go in the repeated birth of cycle of death, repeated cycle of birth and death every time, again and again, till like it doesn't come out of it. Otherwise, soul will always do the prescribed duty according to the scripture. But the best thing is to do the devotional service or the spiritual activity, which is our ultimate goal. So with this, I wanted to end this class over here. So during my discourse, I might have, my explanation, I might have inadvertently done some mistakes or something. Please excuse me for that. If you want to add something over here or any reflections, maybe you can add it here now. Thank you so much.
Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful class. It was nicely explained. So many points. Very nice. Nice to hear. So very senior, very wonderful Vaishnava's details. So thank you very much. If any questions or reflections, anybody, devotees, please unmute and please add. Please comment, or if you have any questions, please raise. Thank you so much. Please go ahead. If please unmute, and we have time. Like to add some comments?
Mataji, if soul is not the doer, then why does the soul incur karma? Good or bad karma?
Yeah, because soul forgets that I am basically a servant of the Lord. So he thinks that I'm the proprietor and he tries to do it. So unknowingly he tries to do by the action of the material modes, he tries to do bad karma and the good karma. Because we're forgetting that Krishna is the real doer and we are not the doer. We are taking birth in this material world. So when we always remember that, yeah, we are doing as a representative of Krishna, we are doing everything, then we won't do any inactions. We won't do any bad karmas. We'll try to do always them the good karmas. But because of the attachment of the material nature, we forget. Then we try to do all this kind of, bad karmas. We think that, like we are proprietors, so we try to do this kind of karmas. Maybe others can add more onto this.
Hare Krishna. I have also another question. Can I ask you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, so you were speaking about how we're all going through these modes at some time or another, and I was also thinking that sometimes we feel like I personally feel that sometimes I am maybe really tired or frustrated, so I am in the mode of ignorance. What are some small practical steps we can take to maybe slowly move from ignorance to goodness? Like, say we are in the morning and we're tired and we don't want to chant our rounds, and there's so much there's so much against us to not chant our rounds. How can we slowly move towards sattva guna and like want to chant our rounds? What are some practical steps that we can take?
Yeah, basically it's I would rather say it's practice and the routine life. So we should note it down, these are our daily practices. This is what I'm going to do daily. Our sadhana wise, like Prabhupada has told, the four regulative principles, four regulative paths for us. Like no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, and no gambling. So we should see, how what we should do so that these kind of things we can do it nicely. Suppose, for example, like I'm a mother, my prescribed duty is to get up early in the morning and prepare breakfast for everybody. So if I do some additional work at night, so it might affect my daily schedule to wake up early in the morning and do my finish my rounds and get the breakfast to the table on not on time. So then like I have to follow a routine order of my life so that I will routine order of my life so that I will finish my chores right on time and take enough rest so that I will get up early in the morning and chant my rounds and go and then I can do my regular other chores. So basically you make some standards in your life, some routines in your life, and you be determined that whatever it is, I have to do my I have to follow my rules and follow my regulations. So immediately and with the constant practice, if we do, then it will be easy for us. So and whatever again we say that whatever is favorable to Krishna consciousness, we should accept it. Whatever is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, we should we should renounce it. Like Anukulya, uh, like Pratikula Varjanam, like that we should think. So basically, when you have to study something in the morning, that is a priority. So whatever other things are coming into your life, we should try to avoid those things. So that way you can meticulously do your prescribed duties or do your all the sadhanas, whatever you are doing.
Got it. Thank
Maybe
you.
there will be some here and there, but if we constantly practice this, um, we can definitely do it. Just as we can see here, like all of these devotees, they might have some distractions. Like for example, our Srimad Prabhu, Amitanandan Prabhu, they every day 7 o'clock they are here. They are even if they don't have katha and all those things, they are here to facilitate this and they are here to listen to us. With basically, this has got a routine now, and they have developed the higher taste for it. And similarly, early morning, our Satyabhama Mataji, whether nobody is there, he will be there to the chanting early in the morning. Sometimes I feel so much inspired by this Matajis. I am not able to get up early in the morning sometimes, but this Matajis every day at morning 5 a.m. She will be there and we hear, every day morning I hear by listening to her Maha Mantra. So basically this is a strong determination and practice. I think, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the examples as well.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Haribol Mataji.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class. It was very thoroughly explained by different examples. We thoroughly understood. I had one question to ask Mataji. When you gave an example of Jada Bharat, he probably in his next life he probably realized that he didn't want to do many actions. He wanted to. I also have very limited knowledge. I could go wrong here and there. Please correct me. But he wanted to act like a madman, so he doesn't want to perform his actions because he had seen in his previous birth. So, is that how would you relate this particular incident to this particular verse, Mataji?
Yeah, basically, particular part of this Abhyaktam verse Prabhupada was mentioning, right? He's saying that whatever like spiritual endeavors you have done in your last life, that it doesn't get nullified. It stays with you, and when you start your next life, you can start from that. Suppose as per the example, suppose you have the 30% of spiritual activity you have done, the next life you can start it from the 31%. So when before when Maharaj Bharat, he was a very good king, and he in his kingdom, like everybody were Krishna conscious, and then he gave his kingdom to his to the prince, and then he came to the forest so that he will do his sadhana. So while doing sadhana, he gets attracted to the deer. Then while thinking about the deer, he left the body. So since he was thinking about the deer and left the body, he got the deer life. But in the deer life also, he is he in the real life also he is not forgetting that by Krishna's mercy he is not forgetting. So you have to see about this part here. He got an animal body, but he's not forgetting about that in a past life he has done this. So he again in the second, the deer form, he was staying nearby this the sages, and he used to nearby in the sages. So then he also accumulated more, like spiritual credits. Then he got the next life as Jada Bharat, because he was staying as a down, because he was spiritually so much enlightened. He didn't want to commit any offenses, and he was so knowledgeable. There's not a single person who can understand his knowledge that time. But he was in basically those who are intelligent, who are speaking to near to the person when it is really required. Like like they say, right? If you are a fool or less intelligent, you talk more. Who are a really good intelligent person, who are they speak less. Whenever they speak, they only do for the Haritosranam, or they only do the Harikatha. So when King Rahugan is approaching, there is an interaction of King Rahugan, and while he's carrying the planquin of Rahugan, he's just jumping here and there. Why he's jumping? Because he doesn't want to step on the ants on the road. The ants, like when we go right, we just step on the ants. We don't consider them as like living souls. But since Jadavarat was so much elevated in the spiritual knowledge, he is just jumping here and there, so that he doesn't want to step 1 foot on the ant. For him, whatever, like he is having a soul, and this ant is having a similar soul. So all are all are souls, and all are like sons, or all are like part and parcel of Krishna. He is in that level of knowledge. So basically, if we see here, his knowledge is, the spiritual knowledge is carrying forward, like up and up. So then, Rahugan realizes about Jadabharat when he asked him why he was jumping. Then he opens that, Rahugan threatens him that, yeah, I'm going to give him some punishment. He says, what kind of punishment you give me? Already I am being punished, but because I am having this body. Then Rahugan realizes, yeah, I am talking to some saintly person. Then he gets all kind of spiritual knowledge from him. So basically, the point here is the spiritual activity, whatever he is doing, is not getting nullified. So that's what I just wanted to bring this example over here. I hope I explained to you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It was very well. So, I mean, even if Jada Bharat did not want to do karma he was doing his karma, right? But
Yeah,
he didn't.
Jadavarat was, like he was karma, but people were thinking that he is dumb. That's all. He was not unnecessarily not speaking. Like he was, his father wanted to take him to some farming area, but he would not so enough interest to do. But he was just, many people you can think of, yeah, it's a pastime. We cannot be judgmental on that. But he was appearing as a dumb, is a deaf and dumb person. He just, yeah, since he was pretty knowledgeable, he just wanted to stay like that.
Understood, Mataji. Thank you so much. Very well explained. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful class.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Just would like to add a comment on the Mudananda Prabhuji's the question. Why, if we are not the doer, why then we are inflicted with the karma? Yes, we are not the doer, but we are the choice maker. We are the one who select what to do. So we have the free will of making the choice. That's all we have. Because of we are making that choice, from it's coming from us, then we are responsible for that. We are, we get the karma, whether it is good or bad, because of we are making that choice. The choice is ours.
So, Prabhu, choice making is also an action, no?
That it's up to us. That Lord gave it to us. It's an action, of course. It's a mental action. So Lord never interfere into that. The free will of a spirit soul.
Correct. So I'm trying to understand why didn't we say we are not the doer, because some option comes in front of us and we say A or B, and we take that choice.
Right. But the doer in the sense that we are, this is in a total sense of that, nothing, that we are not really the doer, because of there are modes of nature. There are 5 factors are related to it. 5 factors. One is the modes of material nature, then the time, and the soul, and the super soul, and the action itself. the contents of the action itself. So this is actually mentioned in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So 5 factors involved into it. So in that all, totally we can say that it's not that we are the doer, but it's all dependent upon all these factors.
So, Prabhu, if I'm just 1/5, if the soul is 1/5 of that 5 factors,
Yeah,
I get 100. 20% of my involvement gets me 100% of the karma.
that's a choice, right? So we make the choice. That's a soul's part in it.
But that is 20%, right? The choice which I'm making is 20% of the 5
Right.
factors.
So that leads to, that 20% leads to the entire action. So loads involved into it, super soul involves into it. Then the time factor, the kala involves into it. So all involves into it. Where is come from? Like when we put on a switch, generally it's it's lights. It's the lights comes up when we switch on. So put the switch. So who is the real the responsible person for that? That one who is making that choice. So this is our choice. So because of that choice, we are going through from one to another, not to bad. So then it's all completely come to us. If we don't make that choice, like we have a choice of whether to drink or not. So, or drink the coffee or not. If we drink the coffee, yes, that's our choice. Then everything else is provided by the Lord. Only the choice is ours. Then what happens? Then since we are drinking the coffee that we took that choice, is now we are responsible for that, the reactions of that. So we get addicted to our senses, it stands away, and further it creates a seeds, and further it's create the impetus to create further things. So it's like a chain reactions of it. So it's just come from that, the choice, the will of that, the doer, or in the sense that here, not the real doer, but we are making the choice. For example, we go and touch the fire. Nobody asks. It's your choice. You have the intelligence. You have the choice. You have the free will. Even you may not know. You may know. You may not know. Many times people does know things that's a more severe punishment. You know what to do, but still you do. So that's where it's from the, that's all come from the prarabdha, because it's already that been created. So there are many factors. These karma factors are also there. That's action in the sense. Yes, it's a choice. Because of you're making that choice, then you are bound to get that, the reactions 100%. It's a law of karma.
Okay.
Make sense? Or
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reflect on it more, Prabhu.
okay,
But thank you. You pointed in one direction. Thanks.
no problem. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where all the entire things that you even Krishna. Finally, Krishna is telling to Arjuna, "This is my opinion. I'm not forcing to you. It's your choice that you are supposed to take." Krishna can
That
easily do that. Krishna can easily force or anything Krishna can, but Krishna doesn't interfere into that.
Yeah, I understand the free will principle, and Krishna will never interfere with that. In fact, Krishna has given us free will,
Yeah,
and the purpose is to love him. Love is out of free will, so that is understandable. We are misusing free will, like how Mataji said in her explanation. That is understandable. So my what I'm trying to get clarity on is that, and there are these 5 factors is also very clear, understandable. But I'm still in a way a doer when I'm making that choice. I'm making that choice, whether I'm impelled by karma, whether it becomes my habit, what will be the reason I'm conditioned. But I'm still acting, I'm making a choice. And that says that you're not the doer. So is it that I'm not the primary doer, I'm a secondary doer, or I'm an influencer of the action,
yeah,
and the actors are gunas and whatever, and Krishna says, so be it. Krishna approves
yeah. That's the one
whatever.
fact. So the
So is
soul,
that the correct understanding?
the choice, suppose one person bringing some kind of grains to a mill that he has to grind it, right? So he brought that one sack of, one full bags of grain. He wants to grind it. He brought that to the mill where we brought that. So what he does that actually, yes, this is his interest, right? That it's I wanted to grind this. This is his desire, his will. So he brings to that, he brings to the factory. They put it in the machine. So machine does everything. Machine does everything. So like this nature is kind of a machine like that. It's everything in progress.
Good, very good example, Simeshwar Prabhu. It answered the question.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have a question.
Ask Mataji. Mataji is the
Yeah,
is
Madhaji, I have a question. In one of the slides, I think maybe the first few, you mentioned that even being inactive or doing no action will not stop your karmic reactions. I mean, you could still be getting karmic reactions by your mind. Can you elaborate on that? How could you get karmic reactions from your mind?
Yeah, I think in the previous verse, Krishna has mentioned, Prabhuji, over there that you cannot stop. You cannot stop any moment without doing any action, and anything you do, you will because by thinking, because sometimes you will be sitting here in doing this class, attending this class here, but you are not doing any work, but you are like your mind is wandering here and there. Sometimes we say our like our senior Acharya have said, like when you do chanting, right, you fully focus, you think that you are chanting, but you are not chanting and your mind is going here and there. So basically here you are having two actions here. First of all, you are having inactive chanting, and you are doing some other actions which you are not supposed to do that time. So basically your two actions are there. And sometimes like when we are listening to the lectures, some of the senior devotees have advised not to chant when you are listening to lectures. Basically when you are thinking that yeah, you are doing good actions, you are listening to a lecture and side by side you are also chanting, you are listening to a lecture, that time he is a Vaishnava is telling about the Hari Katha. So basically your senses should be, you should do this, you should like respect to the Hari Katha over there. But you are that time you are you are chanting over here, but you are thinking that you are chanting, that you are doing the pleasure for the Krishna, but neither you are doing 100% duty over here, while neither you are listening to the 100%, neither you are chanting here 100%. So like that way maybe we can think over here that by not doing this kind of actions also, you get into some kind of effects of the karma, you get it. And without doing anything also, Prabhuji, like we get entangled. We hear, empty mind is devil's advocate. You will be like not doing anything, but you'll start dreaming so many things in your dream. Like you will be sometimes we think, yeah, somebody has told something about us, and we start like thinking, next time when we see him, what we're going to see him, all this kind of angers, and sometimes it generates inside our mind also. So those are also, we get reactions from that. So I hope I try to answer your questions, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. I mean, the reason I brought this point up is because my mind is, again, it just is not it's restless at times, and then what happens is I'm just so concerned that I might be getting some reactions out of having an unstable mind. So you know how thoughts come in your mind, and like was wondering, like, even though I don't try to put them in actions, but there are thoughts in the mind which is,
Yes, Prabhuji, everybody's mind it comes, but by doing the devotional service, whatever you're doing, right? I think, yeah, definitely it will help us, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It's a follow-up on this question. I'm not sure where I heard, but I heard in some lecture that in this Kali Yuga, is there any discount in terms of like the sin that we commit just by thinking? Like sometimes we don't actually doing something, but we are thinking bad,
Yes, Prabhu.
about someone, for example. So, is there any, with the lack of appropriate word, discount in the Kali Yuga on that?
Yes,
Like they say, yes, Mataji, please.
yes, Mataji. There is, I think, in Srimad Bhagavatam, somewhere it is mentioned. I don't remember the exact one, but it is mentioned that in Kali Yuga, this kind of discounts are there. I read somewhere in like Kamsa's prior lives. I was just thinking, that time one of the Kamsa's previous generation, somebody was thinking something, and somebody was thinking, meditating. Yeah, I'm going to do this, and those things used to happen in our meditation also, like it used to happen. But this then there used to for those actions they used to get reactions. And but here in the college, since since it is very in a vulnerable condition, Krishna has done the concession on that in college you are not going to get these effects. But as a devotee, we should we should meditate. Yeah, in our mind also we should not think anything about negative about anybody. If we consider about the Vaishnava Aparadas, thing. So basically it says one of the Vaishnava Aparadas, if you are there is a devotee is there. By looking at the devotee, if suppose you have some disagreement with the devotee, but the looking of the devotee, if you think about those disagreements, then you are committing a Vaishnava Aparad also. So that way we should meditate on this, and we should avoid thinking about in our mind all the inactions. We should stop doing this kind of inaction thoughts, Mataji. So to answer your question, yes, in Kali Yuga there is a concession, but there will be other offenses also you might be committing. So just wanted to add, these two contradictory points over here.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about, if I may ask Puneet Prabhu and Mataji, your questions about thoughts. Yes, there is a reference in Srimad Bhagavatam about the discount Krishna is giving in Kali Yuga, but there is another angle to recognize, because it is mentioned, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So the thoughts is the seedling for all of that. Yes, there might not be immediate reaction for the bad thoughts, the bad anger, the bad provocation we may have, but eventually thoughts, words, actions, habits, character, and destiny, they all, because we are not mechanical individuals, we are very soulful, and we have this thought is such a thing, it doesn't happen and goes away. It multiplies, it triggers, and that is when this aspect of having a pure thought is recommended, and otherwise the reactions can be significant. So I thought I'll just add that. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And while you say that, I was wondering, what are the best practices to suppress the thoughts, the restlessness or the unwanted thoughts which are disturbing you in your mind. Really, it's anything you can throw some light on.
Do you want to answer that, Premasarovar?
Yeah, Prabhuji, just to give an example, your mind is basically kind of basically anybody's mind. We can think of kind of an empty glass. So this, if the glass is empty, you can either fill orange juice over there or apple juice over there, or plain water over there. So but if the glass is already filled, you cannot, Prabhuji, add anything over there. So more we try to fill with the Krishna Katha, or so much Krishna's devotional practices, devotional activities, there won't be all this honor thoughts. We cannot add it more over there.
Thank you, Mataji.
It is very difficult, Prabhuji. It's saying it is pretty easy, but I think practicing is very difficult. But someday, with practicing like this, I think someday we will be definitely reach over there. this morning and evening sessions are pretty nice, and I think because of I think by staying more and more like this, um, by my personal example, I'm saying every day morning, like you get up early in the morning in a thought, yeah, today I'm going to listen about, about this pastime, about this. And the night, yeah, to Karma Yoga is starting. Yeah, we're going to read, we're going to hear about this. Then we meditate on those things. Definitely, like those 2 hours are already gone from our 24 hours from the schedule. This 2 hours already, now it is already gone. Krishna has already taken. So earlier these 2 hours were, like it was empty for us. We were doing so many other things. Now we are 100% sure this 1 hour, definitely we are always thinking about Krishna, and all this honor, adulterated thoughts are not coming into our mind. So yeah, so just the more these sadhanas we do, more these devotional practices we do with keeping Krishna in the center, I think slowly, definitely these other thoughts won't come into our mind.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Yes, there is always in the Back to Godhead magazine, in the first title, it is mentioned that Krishna hi Surya Saman, Maya hi Andhagar, Jahan Krishna Vam, Maya Nahi. There is little
Kaha
more.
nahi Maya Adhikar.
Maya Adhikar is correct. Means Krishna is Surya Saman, is light completely, and Maya is Andhakar. So these thoughts, which are this is the so it is very nice that sometimes we have to serve somebody in this world. Most of the time we are serving Maya with our senses, with our mind, with our intelligence. If we don't serve Krishna, so we are serving Maya. Maya is taking us. That's Andhakar. So it's mentioned as mentioned that Krishna is Surya Saman. Surya is there, sun is there, there's no Andhakar, there cannot be any Andhakar. So that's the only way that if we fill with the Krishna, the sunlight of Krishna, in so many ways, it's difficult, yes, it's not easy, yes, you're all, but yes, gradually, eventually we can slowly get there. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to, from one plane to another plane. We are pretty much on the material plane. That's what we are serving Maya in most of the time. What we need to do, we try, as much as we can. So slowly, even if not in this lifetime, we can start from the, wherever we stopped, from there we can go. Yeah, I mean, this all helps. That is the purpose of, all this. So that way we can at least, meditate, contemplate about the spiritual, topics, what we discussed today. And so many other opportunities morning we discuss, and many of forums. If you have any thoughts, just put it there. Whenever there is another key for it, actually, whenever this bad thought comes, we should try, and we should first of all, this the good thing that yeah, we should realize that these are bad thoughts. Something, talk about others, or something, thinking, oh, he is good, he is bad, he is duklik. These are all bad thoughts. Oh, he is good, judgmental, judging somebody else. Oh, he did that, he did that, so many ways. So, he did challenge me, he didn't talk to me, he didn't, do this, he didn't respect to me. This is Maya's play. So rather we should, anything which, comes to our mind, am I doing correct? Am I doing, is this good for me, or is these thoughts are good? Yes, there is an effect for it, everything, even if what we bring to our mind, that's what is later, it is 45 if we don't check, if we don't have a control of the, the thoughts and all. So it's very important. Yes, thoughts are there, it's very difficult, but one thing we can do is actually we can try to control some way or other. That way we can become peaceful. And when we become peaceful only, then really we can really focus on Krishna. That's Evam, Bhagavatam says that. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogadaha. Evam prasanna manaso. So when we are so much agitated with so much of this, thoughts and anxieties and that, this, those, have faith on Krishna. Krishna is in the center. And then check all our, thoughts and other things. then we can at least, bring our mind to at least bring to Krishna. Like for example, it always says that, when you chant the holy name, mind goes all the places. What we do? Just leave them like that? No. Just try to bring. So that should practice almost every day. And chanting also helps actually. Many people meditate, they get, peaceful mind. Many people go for some kind of pranayama, some yoga, some many things. The best is actually, chanting helps to control our other things. My Guru Maharaj always says that whatever the activities you do on a day, that will all affect on your consciousness, and that actually affects your chanting and Krishna consciousness, and that will also, it's bring, down from that our real Krishna consciousness to really to the material consciousness. So it's very important that, this process of hearing and chanting and association, very important association. One way is to bring down all these bad thoughts is association, and that's very important. Without association, we can easily go away from all these things. Then, we have deities at home worship, and then we have, association, whatever we have offer, and archanam, vandanam, offer obeisance to the devotees, and all those, and always, that, and always have this one actually. It's also will help. I mean, it's not recommended in the sense that always have a feeling that I'm a devotee also. So then it's all helps to. I'm at least I'm actually trying to serve, or I'm actually at least do these things. So this gives a confidence also that I'm actually part of it. If say I'm nothing, that doesn't helps. But if you say okay, I'm also, I have to, that kind of attitude and consciousness helps actually our mind to be focused more every day. So yeah, just wanted to add it.
Prabhuji, I know it's late, but just quickly, I want to add two things. First of all, what I personally practice is that when I touch the lotus feet of Krishna in the morning, I just offer even the negative thoughts, like on his feet, and like just before when I begin my day, like whatever is bothering or something. And secondly, what Nitai Sevni Mataji said the other day, which is really helps, is she said, do not dwell on it. Do not dwell on a negative or a bad thought.
Yep.
Just fill up your mind. As soon as these thoughts come, fill up your mind with Krishna conscious thoughts. And it really helps. It's really like she said it like a few weeks back, and it really helps. And like the offering also really helps, at least because when I'm offering them Krishna's feet, I'm like, just take these away, like I don't want to be bothered, I don't want to waste a minute, thinking about these, and then just go on with your chanting and whatever. So I just wanted to add that, like, do not dwell on those thoughts, because you're just basically wasting your energy and your time doing that. Instead, focus on your chanting and your serving. Okay. Thank you. Haribol.
Wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you, Mataji, for a wonderful class, wonderful discussions. Dear devotees, thank you for joining part of this wonderful association of devotees. So let's conclude today's session. If there is nothing else, let's pray our obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya
Nam Ping
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnava
Ki
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Vaishnavanda ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you,
Haribol.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Hari
Thank you
Krishna.
for the
Thank you
class,
for a wonderful
Mataji.
class,
Haribol.
Mataji. Thank you, Hari Bol.